Okay, let's unpack this one. I actually did a bit of double take this morning.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
Saw this headline claiming that driving without a license, it's apparently set to become completely legal,
Wow. Okay.
right, in the U.S. starting June 2026. Seems pretty wild.
Yeah, that definitely qualifies as wild. Where did you see that?
Well, that's exactly the kind of, bite-sized, attention-grabbing news update that landed in our inbox.
Uh-huh.
It came from a TikTok account called briefing.us, or maybe Frontline Report Us.
Okay. TikTok news. Got it.
And our deep dive today, it isn't just about what these headlines say. We really want to dig into the nature of this information, how it works.
And what's really fascinating, critical about that specific source
Yeah.
is that right there, embedded with the no license claim, is this very stark disclaimer.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, and I'm quoting here, "This information is AI generated and may return results that are not relevant. It does not represent TikTok's views or advice."
Ah, AI generated.
Yay!
And
What?
possibly irrelevant.
Directly stated. So it's not even really hidden. It suggests these stories might be sort of algorithmically optimized to sound plausible, maybe go viral, rather than being, factually accurate.
Right. So here's the puzzle then. We have these incredibly bold claims, startling even,
Yeah.
presented like news. But they come with this warning label. It's saying, hey, this might be totally made up.
Exactly.
What's the deal? I mean, how do we even begin to navigate an information world where the source literally tells you it might not be relevant, but it still spreads like crazy?
It's a real conundrum because you'd think on the surface that disclaimer would just stop it cold, right?
You would think.
But what seems to be happening is that these AI-generated narratives, even with the caveats, are kind of designed to tap into our cognitive biases.
How so?
They make them stick in our minds, maybe despite the warning. That's the subtle hook, the psychological angle.
Okay, so it's not just a simple case of read the fine print.
Not entirely, no.
It's more about understanding why that fine print sometimes feels invisible, or why our brain maybe just glosses over it.
Precisely. It's almost like those logic puzzles, this statement is false, but playing out with information that spreads widely.
Yeah, with potentially real-world consequences if people believe it.
And this isn't like a one-off thing from this account if we step back a bit.
Okay.
This Frontline Report Us account, it pushes out a whole stream of these types of claims.
Like what else?
Well, things like unmarried couples automatically becoming a single tax household if they live together for 2 years.
Oh, cool.
Or young drivers being banned from driving after 10 p.m.
Wow.
And even claims that, all your Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, DoorDash purchases, they'll be monitored by federal authorities.
It's part of some new surveillance program.
Yeah, consumer surveillance program. These aren't just random isolated things. It looks like a consistent pattern from this source.
And always with that same AI disclaimer.
Always with that same disclaimer mention.
Got it. Yeah. So our mission here with this deep dive is really to help you, our listener, become not just informed, but let's say strategically informed.
Strategically. I like that.
We need to go beyond just saying, read the fine print. We want to unpack the deeper stuff happening here.
Yeah.
The context, those caveats, and what it all really means for how you interact with information today, especially in this, digital landscape.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what's the real nugget of knowledge here?
Go on.
It's not just that these specific laws or claims are probably false. The source itself casts doubt, right?
Right.
And it's not even just read the disclaimer, although that's important baseline advice.
Sure.
The true insight, I think, is understanding how these AI narratives, even with explicit warnings, seem engineered to kind of exploit our biases.
Oh.
They embed themselves in our perception, making them hard to shake off even when we sort of know better.
So what does this mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
It means, I think, being an even more active, more curious consumer of information than maybe we thought we had to be.
Active and curious.
It means that a real aha moment isn't always about learning some new fact. Sometimes it's about getting better at questioning.
Questioning the source.
Exactly. Questioning the origins of the information, especially when it's packaged to be viral and it literally carries its own warning label.
That's a skill in itself.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we wrap up, here's something to chew on. In a world where so much information isn't just shared widely, but is actively generated by algorithms.
Generated to spread.
Generated to spread fast, often with these built-in disclaimers. How does your role as someone trying to stay discerningly informed, How does that fundamentally shift?
That leads right into a really crucial question for you to think about. If even things that look like news can be explicitly labeled AI-generated and potentially irrelevant, what truly advanced skills do we all need now? What do we need to cultivate to not only stay informed, but frankly to avoid just feeling completely overwhelmed by it all?